Hey everybody, Hey everybody, tonight on this video we're going to learn how to make whatever the heck this is. And then I'm going to show you how to make a pinhole camera, a wide angle pinhole camera. Hey everyone, so I thought it'd be fun to make a video about this wide angle pinhole camera I made. Now you might have seen coffee can pinhole cameras before, and this is a similar concept, only I made it out of clear pipe that I painted, and let me tell you, that was a huge mistake. If I were to go back in time and do it, I would have made it out of black pipe that I didn't have to paint because it took 27 layers of paint on each side to make this thing light tight. It was awful. So, if you decide to build one like this, use black ABS pipe, not clear pipe. So the way this works is there's this pinhole right here, okay? And I bought that off eBay for 10 bucks. It's a laser drilled pinhole. You could also just use a sheet of aluminum foil or a piece of a pop can and punch a hole in it with a pin tip, and that'll work well too. I wanted to go for something perfectly circular because I'm OCD. And this camera takes 4x5 sheet film or 4x5 paper. And this camera can hold the sheet film either portrait or landscape. The landscape is a slightly wider angle shot than the portrait is, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So the way this works is it's completely black inside, obviously, has to be light tight. And then I glued 8 of these little spheres in here. I super glued them in, and since there's no glass in this, it's okay to use super glue. And what they do is they hold the film in place. I thought I'd be all slick and slide that in without looking, and it didn't quite work that way. So one of them over here I didn't get quite right, so it's supposed to hold. One of them in the bottom isn't cooperating tonight. There we go, that's better. So one of these, it's holding it in now, but there's a little bubble there. Anyway, oh, that worked. It's the first time that's actually done it the way it's supposed to. So what it does is, as you can see, it holds the film on a curve. And this causes the camera to act as a wider angle camera than it actually is. So from here to here, I really screwed up that hole placement. Holy cow. Anyway, from here to here is approximately, this is 3.75 inches, which is 25, let's call it about 100 millimeters, maybe a little bit more than that. And so and this is a 4x5 sheet film, so this is a fairly wide angle to begin with. Curving it causes, man, I really screwed up that hole placement. I'm going to have to drill that again. That's so bad. It's disappointing. Anyway, curving it causes it to be even more wide angle. So you can it holds the film in flush up against the back of the camera this way. When taking out actual film that you use, you don't want to put your thumb on the emulsion. Also, we could put it in landscape. Now, this worked really, really well in the dark. And now that I can see what I'm doing, it isn't. How does that work? Okay. There we go. That holds it in place. So there it is, landscape, and you can see, because there's even more curvature, you get a wider angle. And the reason that's happening goodbye shopping list. Let's say that this represents a standard film plane, okay? And this represents the pinhole right here, okay? And over here, we've got the subject. We'll make him happy. He's waving at you. Hey, hey, waving with both hands. He's so happy. There we go. And smiling. Okay, so that's what we're taking a picture of. Now, normally, when you take a picture of something, the light comes from here and here, and then goes out at the same angle like this, okay? Now, if you look, since this is a pretty wide film plane, you could also get a picture of something over here, like a giant broccoli, and the light would do a similar thing. So basically what's happening is the light's coming through, going through the pinhole and coming through at the exact same angle. So what you get is something pretty standard. Now if you have something else over here, that's a car, I promise. It's here, the antenna. Now it looks like a car, it's got an antenna. If you have something over here, the light comes in from it, but it's completely missing the film, you can see, okay? So this camera curves the film. So pretend for a minute that even these are the same length, even if we make that one much longer, that car is still not getting into the picture. But by curving it, we cause an artificial widening of the field of view. Actually, it's not artificial, it's actual. We're causing an actual widening of the field of view. There's another advantage. When the light comes through here, it's brightest when it's going straight, dimmer, 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 until it's much darker at the edge. Because the pinhole is a different distance from this part of the film than from this part of the film. It's maybe half again as far away, which means you're going to lose a lot of light. However, the film, when it's curved, is equidistant at all points from the pinhole, so there's no light fall off. There's no vignetting on the image. So those are two very major advantages when you're using a pinhole camera to be able to curve the film like that. So for this build, what you need is a length of pipe. This one is about 5 1/4 inches long. So you can see behind the camera, that's the mark I used, so I wouldn't draw outside of the camera range. So you're going to need pipe, 5 inches, let's call that 125 millimeters. Move this down so you can actually see it. There we go. You're going to need caps times 2. Going to need 8 things to hold with. Those are the little spheres that I have glued in there and that keep the film in place. Going to need 1x pinhole, and you can use aluminum foil or what's it called, a pop can for that. And you're going to need paint. Well, use a black pipe so you don't need to paint. And then you'll need 1x drill. You could borrow this from a friend or something like that, just to cut the pinhole in the pinhole. You have to cut a larger hole and then insert the pinhole into it. So that's what you're going to need. Avoid using the paint. Now I'm going to show you how I built this. Oh, there is one other thing you're going to need. 2x magnets. And we'll get to that in a minute. So the way that I built this, and it's okay to use super glue in this build because there's no glass involved in the construction. Super glue is a problem if you have glass in a lens or anything else because off-gas is a very sticky off-gas and it will get onto the lens, attract other dirt, and just in general fog your lens and be really awful for it. So, oh, you also need electrician's tape. I forgot to mention that for the shutter. And a piece of dark material. I used 120 film backing paper for the back side of the shutter there, and that works pretty well. You could also use another piece of electrician's tape with something inside of it. Another piece of aluminum foil, for instance, would work fairly well. A little strip of aluminum foil to act as your shutter. So anyway, so what I did was I put the film into the canister, into the pipe, okay, and then with a Sharpie or other permanent marker, I marked the 4 corners of the film on the inside of the pipe, rotated it 90 degrees, did the same thing, marked the 4 corners of the film, and then put a drop of super glue where each of the dots was. And then I put one of the spheres in here and rolled it around inside until it contacted the crazy glue and stopped. That worked better on the bottom ones because I had stupidly put the base in first. If you don't put the base in first, then you can just reach in with the tweezers or something and place them and you'll be fine. For me, they adhered basically instantaneously. I was rolling them around, they'd hit the super glue and then they'd stop and they were locked in place. Then you'll want to put the bottom on. I used a flat bottom. If you can use a flat bottom, that's ideal because then you can just set it like this and that will work very well. And then you can angle it however you want. If you have a curved bottom, that's okay, but flat bottom works better. And again, super glued that on so that it wouldn't go anywhere. And also because the super glue gave the paint something to adhere to, which made it easier to make this whole thing light tight, which, like I said, took 27 layers of paint. It still wasn't easy. And as you can see, it's actually flaked off in a couple of places. So it's a good thing that it's staying in place on the inside of this. Then for the lid, it happened to be the perfect size for the metal case that a 100-foot roll of film came in, and it just slides right on there. It's a little bit loose, so I use a glasses cleaning cloth, put that on. Now that's still okay, but I was concerned about keeping this flat. I didn't want it to to move around a lot because I was afraid that might cause air movement in there that would pull the film off plane. I think in hindsight that was a silly fear. So I took another flat disc identical to the bottom, painted it on one side so that it wouldn't reflect any light. Oh, this also adds another benefit of because this is silver. If any light came up through that cloth and reflected off of this, then it could fog the film. But because this is in here and it's completely black on the bottom, that won't happen. So that's how that works. And this actually works out really well. Also, if I have it in their portrait, I can make it a landscape camera that easily. It's a little bit different, or I can put it in landscape and make it a portrait camera with an extra wide portrait range because it's a wider angle camera when the film is in this way relative to the camera's body. And then for the magnets, I put these on the side like this, and they act as chocks to keep the camera from rolling away when I'm using it sideways. And that also allows it to stay stable if I place them correctly, which I didn't that time. There, now they're placed correctly. It allows them to stay stable, so I hold it like this, lift up the shutter, tape it to that, hopefully don't jostle it when I move my hand away, walk away for a minute and a half or however long it needs to expose for, and then come back, thumb over the hole. There we go, just like that. And the chalks keep it stable. And it works extremely, extremely well. If you don't have a metal lid for it, you could also get a piece of magnet strip and put it around the outside and do the same thing, or a metal band of some kind. But honestly, just using a 100-foot film cassette lid is the easiest and cheapest solution. So there you go. That's the build. And I have actually used this one time, and I don't have that picture scanned. So after I get that picture scanned, I'll put a link to it in the description. That's going to be a few months from now because I'm using it for my photo class, and I won't have those photos to take home until December. So at any rate, and by that time I'll actually have more photos. So I'll put a link in the description early in 2014 that will have photos I've taken with this camera. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below about this project or any others. If you have any, if this video was helpful, if you thought it was a good idea, give me a thumbs up. That lets me know I'm on the right track. If you have suggestions for other videos or improvements to this design, by all means, please suggest them. This is just a prototype. I'm going to go back and rebuild another one out of black plastic that's more usable. And I'll show you guys that one too at some point because it'll be slightly different than this and even more wide angle. And you can subscribe down below if you'd like to get updates about my new videos when they come out. And one last thing, thank you guys for watching.